In this video practical, we will discuss about biomedical waste management. So being in the medical profession and being in the laboratory sector, there are so many waste that is generated, so we have to know how to segregate it and how to manage it. So we will discuss it one by one. So what is biomedical waste? So waste generated in the diagnosis, the treatment or immunization of human beings or animals in research or in the production of testing of biological products. It also includes waste that comes out of medical treatment given at homes. So what are hazardous waste? So any waste with a potential to pose a threat to human life and health are known as hazardous wastes. Now coming to the classification of biomedical waste, there are two types: non-hazardous 80% and hazardous 20%. So under hazardous we have infectious and injurious or other hazardous. So for infectious we have non-sharps, plastics, plastic dispose, and then liquid. And other hazardous we have radioactive, broken glasswares, trace containers, chemical, cytotoxic drugs, incineration ash. So what are the schedules involved in BMW? First we have the categories of BMW that we will discuss: color coding and the type of container for disposal of biomedical waste, labels for BMW, containers or bags, and then labels for transportation of BMW bags, standards for treatment and disposal of BMW, and the schedule for waste treatment facilities like incinerator or autoclave or microwave systems. Now the steps involved in biomedical waste management is very strict, and it has to be maintained strictly. So there are 5 steps. First one is segregation of pre-treatment of waste at the site of generation. First segregation, after that collection of segregated waste from all the areas of the hospital, and then third is the transportation of waste from various areas of the hospital to storage site, and then after that we will store it, and then for the fourth we will weigh the bags at the storage site, and then the fifth one is the transportation for final disposal. So what are the categories of biomedical waste? We have 10 categories, and let's look into one by one. First category is human anatomical waste. It includes human tissues, organs and body parts. And then second is animal waste. It includes animal tissues, organs, body parts, carcasses, bleeding parts, fluid, blood, and experimental animals that is used in research, waste generated by veterinary hospitals, college, discharge from hospitals and animal houses. The third one includes microbiology and biotechnological waste. So waste from laboratory cultures, human and animal cell cultures, infectious agents from research and industrial laboratories, waste from production of biologicals, etc. includes in category 3. And in category 4, it involves waste sharps. So any waste sharps like needles, syringes, scalpels, plate, glass, etc. that may cause a puncture and cuts and lead to probable infection. This includes both used and unused sharps. And in category 5 includes discarded medicines and cytotoxic drugs. It includes waste comprising of expired or outdated drugs and then contaminated and discarded medicines. And for number 6 we have soiled waste. So this includes items that are contaminated with blood and then body fluids, including cotton, dressings, soiled plaster cast, lines and then beddings and other materials that are contaminated with blood or pus or body fluids. And coming to solid waste, we have number 7. We have waste generated from disposal items or other than the sharps, such as tubings, catheters, intravenous sets, etc. This includes number 7. Now coming to number 8, we have liquid waste. Waste that is generated from laboratory, and then washing, cleaning, housekeeping and disinfecting activities. And number 9, we have the incineration ash that is generated from incineration of any biomedical. And lastly, we have chemical waste. So chemicals that is used in production of biological chemicals that is used in disinfection as insecticides, pesticides, etc. includes in chemical waste. So what is a proper cycle of waste management, as I've discussed earlier in the steps? So this is a cycle that is shown here. First one is the generation of waste. So the waste that is generated in the laboratories or in the hospitals are taken for number 2, segregation. After it is segregated, we go for collection. The collection team will collect, and then number 3 will be treated with different methods. After treatment, it will go to the interim storage, and from there we will do the weighing and then all sorts, and then it will be number 5, transported, and after transportation it will be disposed of in the terminal disposal. So that is how it goes by the waste handlers. So segregation of biomedical waste. So this is a very important step. This is the first step in biomedical waste management. So the segregation of biomedical waste is the key to successful biomedical waste management. And biomedical waste should not be mixed with any other kind of waste, and it should be separated or segregated at the point of generation before storage or transport, and the containers should be labeled according to the schedule. So in segregation, we have different color coded pins. So this is very important to know. So what type of the first question that you have to keep in mind is, what kind of waste am I producing? So keeping that in mind, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 color coded. First one is the green container or green code. So in here we will discard all those general waste that includes vegetables, fruits, peels, packaging materials that are not contaminated. So this is for general waste. And for the red bin, we will include all non-sharps and oil waste that includes infected plastics, syringes, gloves and dressings. And in the yellow bin, we will add anatomical waste. We will put anatomical waste that includes anatomical, pathological waste. So this all will be put here. And for the white plastic, we will put sharps that includes needles and then cut glasses. And in the black, we will discard medicines that are of no use. So that is how you remember the type of waste that you have to manage, or that you have to segregate. Now coming to the labels. So this is for schedule 3. Labels for biomedical waste containers or bags. So all bags and containers for biomedical waste should be marked with biohazard symbol. So this is the biohazard symbol. Now what are good practice? So if suppose you are supposed to collect the waste, then the waste bins should be bags to be filled with only 2/3 of the capacity. So the bags shouldn't be full, and it should only be of 2/3 capacity. And then bags should be sealed or labeled from the source of generation. So if suppose the source is from ENT ward, or if the source is from biochemistry lab or pathology lab or microbiology lab, so all this has to be entered, and then the date of collection and the signature of the lab who is taking in charge of. So all those things should be labeled. Now for transportation, each healthcare facility should have a healthcare waste management plan, which should include collection points and then routes of waste transport. And at that time, A timetable of the frequency of collection should also be set up. And untreated biomedical waste should only be transported in a vehicle that is authorized for the purpose by the authority. And then no untreated biomedical waste should be kept stored beyond a period of 48 hours. And if needed to be stored beyond this period, then the authorized person should take permission from the authority. And then biomedical waste should be transported within the hospital by means of wheeled trolleys that are not used for any other purpose. And these trolleys should not have sharp edges and should be cleaned daily. And then biohazard symbol should be painted on the trolley. So coming to the treatment of hospital waste. For general waste, the 85% of the waste generated in the hospital belongs to this category, that is general waste, and the safe disposal of this waste is the responsibility of the local authority. Now coming to biohazardous waste, 50% of hospital waste includes this one. So for biohazardous waste, first one is deep burial. So the waste under category 1 and 2 only can be called deep burial, and then only in cities having less than 5 lakh populations can perform this burial. For autoclave and microwave treatment, standards for autoclaving and microwaving are also mentioned in the Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules Act of 1998. And the slide that I'm showing right now is the updated version of 2020 Biomedical Waste Management Rules Act, or rules of 2020. So all this equipment installed or shared should meet these specifications, and the waste under category 3, 4, 6, 7 should be treated by these techniques, and standards for the autoclaving are also laid down. And shredding, so the shredding, for shredding the plastics, that includes IV bottles, IV sets, syringes, catheters, etc. And then sharps that includes needles, plates, and then glass, etc. should be shredded only after chemical treatment or microwaving or autoclaving. And then needle destroyers can also be used for disposal of needles right at the time of usage without any chemical treatment. And then secured landfill, the incinerator ash, the discarded medicines, cytotoxic substances, and solid chemical waste should be treated by this option. For incineration, the incinerator should be installed and then made operational as per the specification under the BMW rules of 1998, and a certificate may be taken from the State Pollution Control Board and emission levels, etc. that should be defined. And in case of small hospitals, facilities can be shared with other hospitals also. So the waste under these categories include 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6 that are incinerable, and depending upon the local policies of the hospital and feasibility. So the polythene bags made of chlorinated plastics should not be incinerated, especially polyvinyl chloride, as this is a carcinogen. So treatment of disposal. For category 1, it is incineration or deep burial. For category 2, incineration or deep burial. Category 3, local autoclaving and deep burial. 4, disinfection by chemical treatment, autoclaving, and shredding also. Number 5, incineration. Number 6, incineration, autoclaving. Number 7, disinfection by chemical treatment and autoclaving. Category 8, disinfection by chemical methods and discharge into drainage. Number 9, disposal in the municipal landfills. And category number 10 includes chemical treatment and discharge into drains for liquid and landfills for solid. So what are the points that you should remember? First is chemical treatment is done by using at least 1% of sodium hypochlorite solution, and then disinfection must be ensured. And then mutilation or shredding should be such so as to prevent unauthorized reuse, and no chemical pre-treatment before incineration, and no chlorinated plastics to be incinerated, and then burial only in areas with less than 5 lakh population of people. So as the picture shows, all yellow bag bins waste shall be taken directly to the incinerators waste storage area. So that's it. And then all red bag bins should be taken directly to the disinfections, shredding and recycling facility. So that is 2 key points that you have to keep in mind. And then including with the biomedical waste management, personal protective equipment is also very important. So it includes hand gloves, head caps, face masks, aprons, safety shoes. All those things you should keep in mind while handling the biomedical waste products. And then for handling, I mean, like in any hospital institution, especially if you're working in a lab or if you're in direct contact with the patient, you have to have your immunization, especially like hepatitis B, tetanus and typhoid. So these are very important key points that you should keep in mind. So how to minimize hospital waste? How can you minimize? So as far as possible, purchase only reusable items made of glass and metal, and then select non-PVC plastics, and then strengthen sterilization procedures, adopt procedures and policy for biomedical waste segregation, and establish effective and sound recycling policy that is authorized by the manufacturer, using an authorized manufacturer, and special effort to recycle chemical waste, and be good as gold and buy green. So what are the key messages from this video? So adhere strictly to biomedical waste management guidelines. Always use protective gears. Immunize yourself, especially HPV and tetanus toxins, and then never take shortcuts in segregation collection, especially at the point of generation of waste, and then transportation or disposal of the waste. So I hope you have understood. Thank you.